Hello, everyone. My name is Pamela Karimi. I'm the director of the Office of Undergraduate Research. Thank you for joining us for our first information session for spring of 2023. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing New Bedford Research and Robotics through its director, James Nanasca, Director of Design and Technologies at New Bedford Research and Robotics. And James has joined us today to talk to us a little bit about the opportunities that may be available for UMass Dartmouth students at New Bedford Robotics in terms of internships and in terms of research opportunities. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the platform to James to talk to us a little bit about what New Bedford Research and Robotics is all about and what opportunities are available for UMass Dartmouth students. Thank you.
Fantastic. Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Making sure everyone's able to see my screen, videos playing, everything looks good. Perfect, fantastic. We are New Bedford Research and Robotics, and I just wanted to go over a few things about like the happenings at New Bedford Research and Robotics, and also the potential for internships and internship placement with some of our incubated businesses. I'm going to start off talking about New Bedford Research and Robotics' headquarters and our mission. So New Bedford Research and Robotics is a 5-STEM ecosystem that provides access to frontier technologies for entrepreneurial social impact through education, skill creation, and economic development. So our 5 STEMs are going to be startups, corporate R&D, STEM programs with middle school and high school students, our own internal research and collaborations with university research, and also community engagement with what we're doing with our artisan, designer, and residency program. A little bit about me. I like to work with robots. I love using robots to build things. I went to school for architecture and sort of like found my way into robotics. This is our previous location where I'm controlling a robotic end mill to mill out a really big piece of wood. I went to school in New York for architecture, and now we're over here in the bigger and better iteration of New Bedford Research and Robotics. I'm also originally from Canada, so I will an inadvertent A or about may slip out, and feel free to call it out whenever that happens. Outside of architecture, I do love to read, write, surf, do martial arts, and I love learning new things. And sort of like that longing of learning new things has kind of led me to learn about design, robots, architecture, and really technology as a whole, and really seeing all of the intersections of the things taking place in New Bedford Research and Robotics. This is our headquarters that is going to be down in Purchase Street. This is the old Glazer Glass building in New Bedford. We are renovating it in order to house our new operations headquarters. These are the 2 locations that we're operating out of right now. So the Swain Studio and the Star Store down in Purchase Street, and then up the street at Purchase Street is our HQ. And this is an effort to extend the impact of creativity from downtown New Bedford all the way up to Purchase Street. So we're not just impacting the university and downtown location where we have a lot of visibility of to the downtown, but we're also extending that creative and robotic impact to places nearby in Purchase Street, like a co-working space like in Groundworks, and we'll just be able to extend the community out there. In corporate engagement, New Bedford Research and Robotics is working with New Lab and Ford in Detroit. We are designing and outfitting robotic cells with the different capacities. There's going to be a artificial intelligent robot where it's going to be interacting with people with data visualization in the back, a very exciting project. It's really on the way, and it's running full speed ahead. In terms of also corporate engagement, we're recruiting people to stay at our location in be members at our location in Purchase Street. So one of the companies that is very interested in our location is going to be a robotic imaging, medical imaging company. And we currently have a hydrogen fuel startup 1000 that's taking sour gas into repurposing it into hydrogen fuel. We're talking to some carbon fiber 3D printing companies, and these are all potential companies that that we would be able to kind of like direct you towards and have you directly interact with at our space as you enter. This space may look familiar to some of you. It is the Swain Studio in CVPA. Right now, it's our working robotics lab downtown. You can see our robot behind us. We just came in here in October, but it was a long time in the making, and we're ready to do some good collaborations with CVPA. This is our first robot. This is Splinter. Is a ABB 2600, and this is just the first time Splinter came to life, and is just interacting with the streetscape. And Splinter is also capable of drawing, and a part of the internal research that we do, which we'd love to have interns working on, is some of our internal research. So Splinter being able to draw is a sort of like a novel thing, and it's like an extension of what people are sort of used to seeing for, I guess, like human to robot like collaboration, just like a human being able to draw something, and now robots able to draw something. And of course, we'd love to have some people to work with on robotic drawing. So this is Splinter signing an autograph. Splinter is also capable of 3D printing, and this is a very it's an ever-growing and expanding field in architecture and robotic fabrication. This is a skill set that is being developed and actually being very it's going to be very useful for our other businesses that are coming in, like carbon fiber 3D printing. A lot of our artists and designer in residence are going to be doing additive manufacturing for what we're in our space. So these are some of the outputs that we've done with our robotic 3D printing, and is something that we'd of course like to develop further. In terms of university engagement and initial research, partnering with CVPA, we're collaborating with some in the fashion department and the architecture department, and we've been written in with an MIT grant for textile manufacturing with our artist and designer in residence. So there's a lot of opportunities for us to kind of talk to work with other researchers from other schools. We also present at Acadia a computational design research paper in the Western world. Within those connections, we talk to a lot of very prestigious universities internationally. So University of Technology Sydney, Union College in New York, Penn State, and also some other corporate entities within the design and fabrication space, such as Event Space and Perkin and Will's other architecture departments. So within, like I said, further within the architecture department, we're working with mixed reality and architecture classes and fashion. We're doing some exciting stuff with additive manufacturing and robotic manufacturing within fashion and printing garments. Ceramic 3D printing, we're working with the artist and designer resident that's going to be coming from the ceramic place, rather the ceramic program, and also potentially with Dartmouth and other artists and designers and residents in that place. And we all need support and people to help facilitate these programs. In terms of community engagement, our artists and designer and residents, we're going to have artists such as Dean and Gosha. They're collaborating on a glass-formed art installation where they are using metal forming to produce these bespoke glass artifacts. So a robot would be pressing and deforming a steel plate in order to form glass over top of it. So we're bringing in multi-material fabrication methods and using other avenues of digital fabrication that isn't often explored, and we'd like uncovering these novel aspects in our research and also with our artist and designer in residency. Next month, we are having Lilak Porges. She's worked with us previously in our old location in Brooklyn. She is going to be giving a talk during AHA night next month, so be sure to not miss that. She's giving workshops and also to the fashion department and also some OSS people. So what she's done with us is using a robot to 3D print garments and use it for fashion. So using additive manufacturing for something that isn't typically used for. So for fashion. So like what we're able to see with these big dresses, using a robotic form, a robotic arm in order to print it and be worn. And these are all recycled carbon fiber plastic. So it's a very it has a touch of flexibility with it, and some of these things will be on display during AHA night. This is an example of the what we're going to be putting out on display during that. CVPA and Richard Notkin, we're going to be working with this artist that's been exhibited in the Met. So we're going to be doing ceramic 3D printing with this artist. We're very excited to do that, and of course, always need support and help in order to get this realized. And also working with the community in a sculpture, and also making a sculpture and things for kind of like anchor points in communities for the place around us in New Bedford. So this is a concept diagram of a word sculpture that we're going to be working on. So just a multi-material fabrication project that we're overseeing. In terms of STEM engagement, we're working with 3 schools right now. So there's Tabor Academy, our sister school, and New Bedford High School. So if there's anyone inclined to want to work with in the STEM program or with younger students, there's an opportunity for us to engage with them in our programming that we've done thus far. Tabor, we see we're doing a additive manufacturing and robotics course with them. Same thing with New Bedford Public High School and OSS. So I don't know if anyone has been to the CVPA recently, but we had a big exhibition with these students from OSS to study houses along Abolition Row, design them, and design them in 3D modeling software and CAD software, 3D print them and have them on display, and give these young students an opportunity to stand proud with something that they've made. And it was a very beautiful experience. This is the AHA night that this is just half of the room. So I mean, if we pan out to the left, we'd see everyone else. It was a really exciting night, lots of energy, lots of people there, constantly circulating. Yeah, this is something that we could get people engaged with as well. And that is all about, not all, that's just briefly about New Bedford Research and Robotics. Thank you.
Thank you, James. This was a great presentation. Also very beautiful slides. Thank you so much for sharing all of this creativity with us. I have a couple of questions for you, but I think it's more important to turn the platform now to the students who are in the audience today. I want to invite anyone who wants to ask a question of James to please unmute themselves and ask their questions.
I have a question, if you don't mind.
Hey, Michael.
Go ahead, Michael.
So, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm currently a senior in the bioengineering department at UMass Dartmouth.
Mhm.
And I was, you mentioned earlier that you're working with a medical imaging company and your robotics lab. I personally have a very strong interest in robotics, even as a biomedical engineer. And I was curious if you could explain more on what you're doing with the medical imaging company and your robot in particular.
We would be working with them in a capacity to provide a facility and have robots and the know-how to program robots in order to have a robot to be able to move around and scan either like a person's body part or an injured part in order to, I guess, like to digitize it and then to further operate on it. So like what we would be doing is to scan and so we'd program, or we'd give space, we'd be able to program the robot, and then we'd be able to facilitate like what's going to be happening on the back end after things have been digitized.
Okay, thank you. And just last one, if I was interested, is there like a formal application that I can fill out, or is there like a website that I can go to learn more about you guys?
I'm going to put my email and Mark's email. Mark is the founder of New Bedford Research and Robotics. Sorry. I'll just put my email. I'll just put my email, and then we can do that. So there's not a formalized application yet, but yes, you can. I'll put up my email there, so we can email.
Awesome, thank you.
Michael, thank you for that question. Actually, I wanted to ask you too, James, about contacting you, because on your website, and by the way, everybody who is here should know that I did provide the link to the website of New Bedford Research and Robotics in the chat room. So check it out. On your website, there's a form that people who want to be in touch with you can fill out. And so I'm assuming that that's an automatic email. It goes to your inbox, and then you'll respond to people, right?
Yes, yeah. There's that method as well. I guess just like my email there is also just a bit more direct.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, that's actually the benefit of being present today in today's session is that a student like Michael can see you, can meet you, but also can be in touch with you directly later on regarding their interests. Any other questions from members of?
Well, while people are deciding what questions they might have, Michael, I just want to add a little bit more color to James's response regarding KinImagine. It's a Greek company with about $20 million worth of intellectual property already under its belt that is looking for its first foothold in the United States. And is really excited about the prospects of New Bedford and New Bedford's proximity to Boston, which is, of course, a real medical, kind of innovation hub. And their technology is, I think, unique twofold. One is they capture, I think it's 10,000 images per second with their technology. So the innovation is not necessarily in the robotics side, it's in the imaging side, and in terms of the dynamic loading of the tissues of the body. So, and the reason the way they use robots instead of lying you in a CT scan or an MRI scan is because they want the ligaments loaded and slack. And so they use the robots to orient around a target joint in order to capture, I think, what are extraordinary medical, points of analysis with this imagery. So pretty exciting. And we would love to learn more about you, and your timing might be really good in wanting to come work with us and supporting them. So thank you for that. Thank you for that question.
That sounds very, very interesting. I'm hoping to work for, like, I'm getting my master's here at UMass Dartmouth for biomedical engineering, but I was actually hoping to work with a professor on soft robotics, because that's always been my passion. I'm currently involved in a makerspace on campus where we do a lot of like 3D printing and a lot of like engineering and R&D. And then I'm also involved in the robotics club on campus, as well as a few others. So I think that's where my true passion lies, less so in like cell and tissue engineering and more so in the medical devices and robotics side of things. So this company and opportunity sounds fascinating to me.
Well, fantastic. And as James noted, and I just dropped in here, I apologize, James, for showing up. But as James noted, and Pamela did as well, you know, it's just come by, come meet us, come talk to James. Let's start a conversation and see where. I think all good partnerships are ones where, you know, we're able to provide access to something or you know, kind of feed you kind of opportunity that is easy for us to do and that is of a great desire for you. So if we can do that, then there'll be something valuable in coming and meeting us. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark. There is a question from usually. Would you like to unmute yourself and ask your question directly, or would you like me to read it?
Hi, my name is Julia. I'm a faculty in Charlton College of Business. So I'm not a student here, but I'm curious. Our students, business students, they actively look for internship, and we have data science major, management information system major here. We also have general business like accounting, marketing, management, finance students. So I'm not sure if there are any opportunities for business students to participate in any capacity. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I would especially with something kind of like a data science background, that'd be great. But also, like business students are always more than welcome, because we're always working with corporations that might need strategies to grow. So business students are more than well equipped to help us and our incubated businesses with that. So that was the long answer. Short answer, yes.
Thank you so much. I guess maybe our department, like internship coordinator, maybe can contact you, and maybe we can figure out some information together.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You could, Julia, you could use my my email. I dropped in the chat.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Julia, for that very good question. I really appreciate that. I'm always for, you know, creative marriages between different fields, and marketing, of course, is a very important field on campus, very popular among the students. And we'd like to see opportunities for research and internship open up to them as well.
And I think that's something that we've done successfully at our old space, where we had engineers cross-pollinate with architects, cross-pollinate with sculptors. So there was always a lot of knowledge transferred back and forth without any disciplinary borders, and that really helped find novel solutions for certain things. Because an engineer is going to look at a problem differently than an architect will, than an artist will, than a insert discipline. So yes, so the cross-pollinating of disciplines this is the space to do it.
James, I'm curious if you're interested also in the students from English or history backgrounds, the students who are more into writing. Like, do you work with people who can write about your achievements and, you know, write press releases, news pieces for different platforms?
What we always need students that are able to, I guess, like communicate, like the students that are able to, and I think an English major is like perfect for that, to learn how to be very like not like be very precise with your language and your words in order to get a message across. So again, also the short answer is yes. And yeah, I think English majors would be able to would have transferable skills also in I think some maybe some design adjacent capacity. I'm sure, because I think if you put them in front of a design problem, they would tackle it in a way that might be that someone in our space that is typically seeing the same thing over and over again will look at it differently.
Excellent. And James, if the students want to pick a topic of research about some aspects of what you do here,
Mm-hmm.
can they just come in and talk to you about that?
Yes, they can come in and talk to us about that. It's going to be dependent on the research that we have going on. If it's going to be if we have a project that's coming up that might require more development on on the digital side, just like for modeling or something like that, versus on the physical side. Of course, we would steer to what our needs are, but strategically place people to where their strengths and their interests are aligned with. We want to make sure that it's a mutually beneficial relationship, that they're growing in their interests and what they want to do, and also within that internal research things. That doesn't also end there. I mean, we're going to have a bunch of incubated businesses too. So like something that they might be interested in would also be able to easily flow into some other business that we might have staying with us as well.
Excellent. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, for these kinds of opportunities for research, I'll be in touch with you, James, and whenever an opportunity comes up, I'll include it as part of the call for research. I mean, we have our call for research opportunities coming up for the summer of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be in touch with you if there is an opportunity to include 1 or 2 slots for students to do their research. I'll be happy to work with you on that. Adnan Nathan, he had to leave the room, but he has a very nice note for us. Thank you for bringing New Bedford Research and Robotics to our attention. I have to run, but this could be very interesting to our students. Thank you again. Yes, indeed. Thank you. Mark, did you want to, you put something in the chat, and I think it's very important. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I'm not sure if when I post it's under James's name or not, so I apologize. Are you talking about the social media marketing stuff? Okay. Yeah, I obviously jumped in here on James's link. Thank you all for allowing me to do that. Yeah, James, I think, spoke very eloquently to this. So it's just going to be on top of what James has already said, which is, we started with design and robots in New York. And what we learned is through building an ecosystem is that it's really pan-disciplinary. There is so much room for so many kind of things which are immediately and then distally adjacent, if that's not a paradox, distally adjacent. There's room for many different kinds of thinkers, many different ways of contributing or getting something out of what we're doing. So, and what I mentioned was around the question about business, and what following business was a kind of English or literature. Yeah, absolutely. People who want to communicate. I think James aptly stated that well. People who want to look at what we're doing. Sometimes a creator in a project is not the most objective in assessing what they're doing necessarily, and being prompted by a couple of questions, what are you doing and why is that important, can be super valuable. And if that can be articulated by a literature student or a marketing student or a social media person or whatever, there's a ton of room to kind of squeeze more out of it or even steer the research. So it's a reciprocal condition. And we've found media students, film students, art students, industrial design, literally across the campus. I mean, there's always room because people work best in teams. And being a good roboticist doesn't mean you're a good business person, doesn't mean you're going to bring something to market effectively or do good research as to what the market is that you're satisfying. So there's a ton of room. And so yeah, anybody who's interested in what we're doing, even being critical, thinking critically about this work and what its impact is today and in the future, or how it affects society, there's a lot of room for a lot of people to come have conversations around the effect of technology on us today and tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mark. I think, with all the things that you have to offer to our students, we are so thrilled that this new organization is now locally available to our students to explore different research and internship routes. Are there any questions from students in the audience? No more questions? Okay.
So, can I interrupt? I'm coming in as Diane Castellingham, but my name is Howard Mickle. I retired from the ECE department here at UMass 2016. And I'm very interested in what you're doing, because when I retired, I actually went to China and was one of the founding partners of a company building humanoid robots. Products I was building for STEM education. If you're familiar with the company, it's UBTech. Anyway, my question is, and I'm looking about your business model. If somebody has an idea and they want to come and work with New Bedford Research Robotics, how do they do this? Do they need to bring their own funding? Is it something that Mark would go out and find partners to support? I mean, how does this work? And then I guess the other question I have would be on, I see you have the ABB arm. Are you interested in humanoid robotics at all? So two questions that I guess just looking for discussion.
I would say that like we do have, whenever people become a member of our space, they typically do have their own funding. But like Mark can elaborate on this question a little bit more. Yeah.
We are developing a 30,000 square foot space. We already have some startups in. We're talking to some corporations. It's going to be a tech-focused co-working space for folks who want access to the kind of environment that we're creating and the kind of technology and know-how that we have. And what we will be basing everything on is a membership model. Kind of depending on the profile of the startup or the company, will determine kind of what your needs are in terms of square footage and access, et cetera, and then kind of bring you in and on agreeable terms. Ultimately, what we want to be doing as we're building this ecosystem is to be having funders sponsor startups. Right. So in an ideal world, so there's a reason we're doing this as a nonprofit. It's not because we want to make $1 million, $1 zillion. Million's not big enough anymore. It's not about, kind of, sorry. It's, this is about connecting across sectors. It's about giving opportunities. I look at a Michael Nasrallah. That's exactly who we want interested. How do we keep folks here starting businesses here? How do we get venture capital here supporting the Michaels of the world? How do we start to look at the opportunities that a place like New Bedford, which is now going to be connected to Boston with the train, can support blue tech and renewable energies and sustainability and kind of new manufacturing processes. So we want to build that kind of energy. And it sounds like your background, I know it's not Dayalan, but I've forgotten your actual name, would be really amazing to have. And we would love to talk to you, but we would love it if you'd reach out. We could have a coffee together.
Yeah, why don't we do that? When I left UMass, name was Howard anyway. Howard,
thank you.
Right? you know, I went to China. I had an opportunity to go to China, fortunately, and I got in on the ground floor of a company that was building humanoid robots. The line that I was building was to use in STEM education. So we actually have a whole series of products working K through 16, I guess would really be appropriate, humanoid robots. And looking to further that, I think there may be some opportunities here. So I will look on your website and send you an email, and you can look for one for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Howard. We
Great.
will.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Final thoughts? No? Okay, so on this note, I'm going to end the session by thanking James and Mark for joining us today. I will make this presentation available on the Office of Undergraduate Research website. I will also include a link to New Bedford Research and Robotics for those of you who want access to the website. So the link will be provided there as well. So on this note, I'm going to end the session again by thanking everyone for joining us today. This was a very, very useful conversation. Thank you so much, New Bedford Research and Robotics. We look forward to collaborating with you.
Thank you so much, Pamela. It was great. Thanks.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.